Hello Villa fans, it's Dave here and I hope you've been getting by okay in the sunshine. Hopefully you've either been out enjoying it or you haven't been struggling too much if you had to go on public transport. It's hot over here as well. It's kind of funny that we complain usually about the weather most weeks and now it's glorious sunshine and we can't cope. But anyway, that's the situation over here in Ireland. Thought I'd just share a few thoughts on the signing that looks as though it's going to happen, and that's Emerson Royal. I'm not going to comment on anything else because it's only speculation, but Villa in talks with this club in Brazil. So I just thought I'd give a few thoughts, and the reason why I want to have a say is because I've seen a lot of negativity from Villa fans and podcasters alike. And look, I know very fine journalists and they have to make their money and, probably they need to be a little bit dramatic to get the clickbaits, but saying that this shows how much we're struggling and how the game is wrong and we've got the financial straitjackets. I mean, I think it's a little bit over-egged and I don't think the signing is too bad. Look, I'm not saying he's going to transform us or win the Champions League for us. He's not. But the reality is he is being signed as backup to Matty Cash. So he'd be a backup right back. And let's just look at that position before I talk about how good a player Emerson Royal is. Let's look at what we've tried to do, trying to get a backup to Matty Cash. We currently have Andres Garcia. It was abundantly clear from starting the game against Manchester City that he was not good enough. He had to be, taken off at half time. For Matty Cash, who was a bit tired from all the celebration, he'd do a better job. He was about 6 million. We had Yasin Özkan, who was about €7 million or so it's £6 million or so. He didn't even play for the club. And then Kostin Nedeljkovic, who was apparently 8 million. So none of these young starlets have worked. And we have spent 20 odd million on 3 right backs as backup for Matty Cash. And none of them have worked. None of them been good enough. So look, spending 9 million or 10 million euro, which is the fee that's reported, I'm absolutely fine with that. For a backup, for a solid backup. Now, I know I said there, none of these young starlets are good enough. I'm sure a few of you said yourself, I don't know if Emerson Royal is good enough. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to look through the time at Spurs. And there were caveats. He didn't light up the Premier League, but he was signed by Nuno. Nuno was out of a job after a few months. So he was signed as the traditional right back under Nuno. Then Conte came in. And it was a completely different game. Conte played the wing back game, very often with 3 in defence. And then wanted that right kind of winger defender getting forward. And that wasn't Emerson Royal's game. And there was the problem. Conte wanted to play a different style that Royal had been signed for. So, first of all, we have to remember that he spent the majority of time playing with managers who didn't suit his style. And then Postecoglou came in, and again, completely just not the right style for Royal, and they signed Pedro Porro, who was probably the best right back in the league for a time. So, what I will say is that Conte did actually praise Royal for his hard work and for his dedication, because Emerson Royal realised that this style wasn't suiting him, and according to reports, he invested $1 million of his own money in a recovery tent to aid his recovery. I won't go into the science, something to do with more oxygen, wherever, so get better recovery. He hired a neuroscientist to help him with the mental strain and the pressure of the Premier League. And he also commissioned his own data reports and scouting reports so he could study top players. And as I say, Conte praised him. He praised him for his application and his effort. So the pinnacle of his time at Spurs, he got a Player of the Match award in February 2023 when Spurs beat Manchester City 1-0 and he just dominated on Manchester City's left side. Grealish and co just couldn't get by him. Royal was the rock. Now, as I say, of course, Postecoglou came in again, probably even more of that attacking nature, didn't suit him. Pedro Porro was signed. Emerson Royal was offloaded. But this kind of narrative that he was a disaster at Spurs, that's just not true. And I think we should see that he actually had a really good attitude, that he tried to work really hard for the manager. And I think maybe that's something that bodes well for working with Emery, because it seems to be that Emery likes someone who wants to work hard and improve their game. So there's every chance that Emerson Royal can come in and become a better player under Unai Emery. So the long and the short of it is, we're signing it back up to Matty Cash. Matty Cash has just had a brilliant season, our player of the season. We don't need to sign, a new first team right back. There are other areas we need to put a big investment in the park. This isn't one of them, but we do need backup. And look, Emerson Royal, he has Premier League experience. As I say, he has shown that he's good attitude and application. And I think he'll fit in quite well with Unai Emery. And €9 million, 10 million euro, that's about £7 million or something like that. That's fine, considering we've already tried to, get a backup with younger players and spent the best part of 20 million and it's been failed. So look, let's just all calm down. It's not a terrible signing. It's a decent signing to shore up the right side and maybe take a bit of pressure off Matty Cash. So I think let's get him in. Let's see what he can do under Unai Emery. And, we'll be fine. So we got very lucky that Matty Cash didn't have any injuries there last season. If he did, Royal's there to come in. And you know what I'm going to say? We all thought Victor Lindelof, what kind of a signing is that? Proved to be very, very useful. So I think we could have another Victor Lindelof situation here. So look, all I'm going to say is I trust Unai Emery. I don't think this is a terrible signing. I think we should go with it. So fingers crossed. If he comes in, he works well and does a good job for us. And I'm hopeful that he will. Anyway, I hope we're all having a great summer and I hope we're enjoying the World Cup. And I'll be back with a few thoughts when we have a bit more concrete news with some other names. But until then, up the Villa!